Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get started with this. Just going to play some regular tour play and try to go over some of the fundamentals we talked about in the chat. Some of this will just be stuff you've heard before, maybe some of it will be new. Sometimes it's easier, instead of just talking about it in chat, to actually see me do it while explaining it, I guess. Visual aid. We're going to go ahead and get started with this. I'm pretty sure this tournament is 9 and 10. This account doesn't have 10 unlocked yet. I've been using this account to stream for the pro tournament prep group. So its clubs are probably a little past what most of you guys have from what I saw. But we're not going to really worry about that right now. Jordan has a rookie account that we can use for the Monday qualifier to stream actual gameplay and actual tournament conditions. This is going to be more of a just general gameplay kind of tutorial, I guess. Refresher on some stuff, maybe. That's oh, in case you guys are wondering, that's my son in the picture there. This account is dedicated to him.
Great shot.
Uh-oh. Alright, basic wind range adjustments. We're gonna need some extra help here. Okay, knowing the accuracy of your club is the first thing. If you guys need, we have accuracy guides for that. I don't know if I can even make this work, but let's say, you know, this is, you know, obviously you can't adjust past max aim. You know, extra mile 7 is about 2 rings per. This is closer to 6. I like to use the take shot button when it's really a delicate guy. I can move 3 rings, 2 per, that's 6. We're actually gonna have to go up here though. Run out of time.
Great shot.
That might be okay, hopefully. Go, ball, go. Get over. Ooh, just made it. But yeah, like, you know, you don't have to use the take shot button. You can use any point of reference. That takes a little time to get used to because you got to be quick at flipping the screen around. You can just look at the ground and make a point of reference, but and like I told you guys in the chat the other day, you know, you got some people who are real just math based and they just want data point after data point after data point.
Great shot.
So they actually write down, have huge wind charts for the rings. They know, you know, minimum, mid distance, max distance. Or some of them have that little app that tells you the wind for minimum and mad if you type it in or something. I honestly, when I'm playing myself, I play a lot more by feel for that kind of stuff. Oh,
great shot!
On the wrong side. It might still be okay. Like right there, for instance, I didn't. Oh, we nicked the rough. No worries. You know, I didn't really use the rings. I just kind of eyeballed it all and just kind of played it off feel from experience. But you know, when you're first starting out, that can be very hard to do. Knowing the rings, knowing the adjustments can help give you confidence that you know the shot's going to go where you intend for it to go. To a point. But you know, if you need those sheets, if you need all that's minimum mid distance, but you know, really from my long iron, wood, and driver, I'll make pretty precise adjustments. Sometimes max distance, short iron, but anything that's like minimum distance, rough iron shots, sand
Perfect
wedges,
shot.
chips around the green. I don't really bother with the wind rings at all. I mean, just know that the further back you are from max distance, the less the rings matter. I mean, that's the important stuff. It's less of an adjustment the closer the club is. With these little chip shots right here, though, it's really just there's no adjustment. It's super close. The ball's not going to the air. It's either you hit it perfect or you don't.
Perfect shot.
And it's gonna go in.
Eagle.
Alright, I'll be back. The girls need to eat at 6 if I'm not home by then.
Okay. But that was the cutest modern elite. We're gonna go have some drinks with some friends. Well, we're gonna sit here and stream. Because it seems like more fun. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, minimum max distance. So let's say that same 3-ring adjustment was at mid distance. It'd really be like a 2-ring adjustment ish. Just that's the important part, is knowing you have to adjust less, especially for chip shots. The closer you are, the less wind you need to play. Big mistake I see people play in chip shots around the green or minimum distance short iron shots is they way over adjust for the wind, or they adjust for the max distance because they don't understand that minimum distance is a different adjustment, that the rings count differently the closer you are. I feel like this music's a little loud. Let's turn that down. I feel like I'm yelling over the music. Alright, so same thing right here. We know that the rings on this driver count for about 2 apiece. You don't have to really be more precise than that. We want it to kind of go somewhere around there. So I can use my take shot button. We were kind of cutting it close so we could play it safe. It's really 2.5 rings, but we could go 3, move it over 3. That's 6 miles per hour worth of wind we adjusted in a 5 mile per hour wind. So in theory, if we hit this ball perfect, we should miss that rough on the right and end up in that fat part of the fairway. Just barely. And that's why I did that extra mile an hour of adjustment, because we were kind of cutting it close. And sometimes the wind, if it's a little downhill, can affect the ball a little more. And we're going to go over that when we get more into the tournament prep versus just this kind of little gameplay exhibition. But one of the things, especially for my rookies and my pros, sometimes in masters, and even an expert, I tell people sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit. But for rookie and pro, trying to cut things too close with early on clubs that lack accuracy and distance, and in a lot of cases you guys aren't as familiar with the courses and haven't played 5,000 games plus or all this sort of stuff. It's important to kind of play course management very well. Okay, and here's a good example of what we're talking about distance. You can go up, see, okay, this is where it changes. So there's max distance. And we're a long way from minimum distance, so we're a little bit closer to max distance, but not quite. The rings count 2 apiece. I'm going to try the full backspin shot here. Let's see how that goes. Another thing, too, is remember that not only does the wind curve the ball in the air, but it makes it bounce to the side. So we'll do like this. We'll do about 4 mile per hour worth of wind. We'll hit it very quickly since we're running out of time. Oh, we didn't quite account for enough.
Nice on.
Should have gone another half a ring, but I did kind of a mid adjustment there, even though I was a little bit closer to max, and I should have probably done the full mid adjustment, and that probably would have dropped for us. But that's also a good thing to get in the habit of, especially early on when you don't have it down pat in your head a million times how every hole plays. Every time before you line up a shot, before you move a spin, drag that club forward, drag it backwards real quick, and see where you are. Not just to know the minimum mid adjustment for windage.
Perfect shot.
But I see a lot of people, especially early on rookies, they start making their
nice
get the club lined up on the hole, they make their full adjustment, then they adjust for the wind, and it changes, and then they don't know what to do because they don't have time to readjust for the new club, that it changed to. Like, you have a strong tail in that thorn, but we pull it back, and it changes to an end bringer all of a sudden, and the spin is wrong, your setup is wrong. So it's good to get in the habit of, at least until you're further into the game. Always just checking whatever club it gives you right off the rip. You know, just quickly scope out, you know, what adjustment you have on both ends of that club. You can look at the wind and tell, even without making an actual adjustment, if there's room for any adjustments you might want to make. And you can always adjust your spin. Like if you're going to play the full backspin shot, but you see you don't have enough room for it, you can adjust and do half backspin. Not where the head went. I like to rough bump it down there where the tail went. I don't want to get too cute with this.
Perfect shot.
No, we shorted it a little bit. Maybe we should have gone a little further up or gave it a top spin or two. But you saw there, I mean, I just did the basic adjustment. You know, I just used the take shot button. I know that the sniper, 100% accuracy, 1 mile per hour, 1 ring. You know, then, and there's nothing to it. That's one, you know, the Goliath and the Thorn. You know, they're not only really good irons, but you know, things that are right about 50% accuracy are really good because it's an easy adjustment.
Shot.
2 per ring. Easy adjustment. Get in the hole. Oh, that was butt kiss. You know, just like the sniper, 100% accuracy is real good. With the driver, you don't really necessarily have to know every ring until later on when you get to Tour 10, 11 and there's more driver shootouts. But for right now, you need to at least know what it is from the middle of the inner yellow circle to the outer edge. You need to know what the full range of that is. On this one, you know, this one's easy. It's like 47. What is it? 45 accuracy. So it's really probably like 2.1, 2.2 per mile per hour. But if you do 2 and just play safe, stay away from stuff, you'll be fine. Do some more Tour 9, I guess, since maybe we'll see some tournament holes. All the tournament holes are Glenmark, which, you know, I got to take a peek at the course layout that was posted in the chat, and those are not the worst holes. You know, I think this could be a pretty good scoring tournament. Let's see if this works. If you get a guy backing out on you, doing the illegal back out trick, swipe out, let it do the restarting game thing, and sometimes if they were impatient, it'll force them to play the game. I did it to a guy last night. He was on Tour 11. He was mad. But that's what you get because you're using illegal shoot. Nope, he was not impatient. He let it time out. So he got away with it. Most of them will, but every now and then that works, and it's really funny when it does because you immediately get a mad emoji. Which, at this low level, I don't even see why people are backing out. I guess because of the gold banners. I've just been using this account to stream for the pro group, and I've kind of, in the 3 tournaments I played, obviously went okay. 2 golds and a bronze, but... Alright, this is not going to be an easy win, because we won't be able to go long here. In the tournament, I just bombed it off that center island and went over there to the last fairway, but it's not an option with this win. I'm also not a big fan of going right on this hole. Leaves you with a lousy angle even if you do hit the fairway.
Great shot!
Nope. My wife said, show me your boobs. It's not that kind of stream. Alright, wind adjustment again. You know, we don't want to go too far on this, but we do have a headwind, so it should check up fine. Right about there. Alright, again, my old faithful take shot button. You know, we know that it's 2 per 6.5, so we're going to go 3 plus a little extra just to make sure we're safe.
Perfect shot.
And that should get us the landing spot we want. And of course, understanding that the wind's pushing the ball to the right as well as the side spot. Oh, that was too hot. I thought that wind would help more. I am not as well versed with the extra mile. So every now and again you'll see a silly mistake like that, but no biggie. We should still be able to reach from over there, hopefully. And I don't think our opponent will necessarily be able to. With that headwind, he's not going to hit that little island in the air. He's going to hit the rough, maybe even stay in it. If he doesn't hit the sand. But, you know, that's basic wind adjustment. In fact, the next wind adjustment I do, I'll do it without using the take shot button, so you can just kind of see it from the other way. You know, then of course with the wind, you know, it's saying the side wind curls the ball.
Great shot.
Even if you don't put curl, you can curl into the wind and take some of the curl that the wind is already off. You can curl with the wind and increase the effect that the wind is having on the ball. Anything in between. Well, we can't reach the green, but I think we could maybe get up here and have a chip.
Great shot.
Yeah, we may have missed it by too much. That may hook too much to the left. Hold up, ball. Nope, we're alright. Okay, we got ourselves a chance at least. And this is one of those little wedge shots. I really don't use the rings at all on. Yeah, I know. And the secret, a lot of the best players really don't use the rings for these kind of shots. You know, it's a matter of kind of knowing what the rings are, but at the same time, it's a lot of feel and experience. And it's just something when, as you guys play more and grind and get more experience, it'll become the same way for you.
Nice on.
And you'll notice when you stop relying on the rings for these short shots, you'll make way more. Hopefully I can give you an example of that. This is actually not a bad wind. Oh, nothing funny. So let's use top spin trick. This is a good chance to do another thing. You guys ever notice when you move your guy on the green, sometimes the line flickers, it goes really long, then really short, then really long. Whenever that happens, whenever you get that line flicker, abort, take off top spin, and get as close to the hole as you can. Basically, you're going over a weird spot on the green, and it's affecting the line and the roll.
Perfect shot.
The best way to get away from that is to take roll over that weird patch of green out of the equation, fly more through the air, you know, and just, you know, go right in the hole. Whether it take off all the top spin, or maybe just one backspin if you have to, you know, just, you know, so if you guess that the which line is the real line, you'll guess wrong half the time, if not more, depending on how lucky you are, and you'll end up with a really terrible chip that shoots way past the hole, that comes up crazy short, and you're like, what the hell? How is that even possible? But that's what that is. The line flickering means you need to not go over that particular area. Come on, give us some Glenmark Estates. Now, any adjustments you see me make on this, because this is the second tee box, Your tee shots you'll throw out the window. However, your second shots will be more or less from the same spot because this driver's a little more than what I saw you guys have. So, and I'm using pretty good balls. So, if you're using, like, say, a Marlin or Navigator versus these Katanas and Kingmakers and stuff with this longer driver, your second shots should all be from relatively the same spot. You know, the front tee box pretty much, you know, equates to the second tee box with better clubs and better balls.
Perfect shot.
Alright, our opponent obviously played this hole before on Tour 9, or maybe in the last time we were around, because he's pretty familiar with it. He katanaed it. Which seems like a fair choice right here. We'll do the same thing. We'll go katana. No unfair advantage. Alright. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this either. Get your rings set up even with the wind, and then pull forward to max distance. You know, or wherever you want to go, like here, wherever you want to land. Then adjust backwards. So we need to go right about there. Now I have an adjustment at full distance, but it wasn't just a guess.
Perfect shot.
You know, I actually used the rings by pushing it forward to max distance, and, you know, on overpower max distance, and then coming back the amount of rings I needed to get the exact adjustment. You know, I could have obviously just eyeballed that and just kind of known, but for you guys that still are not quite in the how much wind, how far this will carry while I nick the rough, that's a good way to use the rings when the club is too far forward off the tee for you to, you know, just sit there without your finger. So you have to keep your finger on it the whole time, obviously. Keep it pressed forward, but if you angle the wind straight ahead or straight, you know, straight in front of you, straight behind you, to make the adjustment easy, then you can just kind of eyeball a spot
Nice on.
and then move that amount of rings back to it, giving you your adjustment. The chat is up and going, guys. If you guys have any questions, if you want me to show you anything in particular, anything you're having problems with. Alright, see here, we're probably closer to max distance again. Alright, so this time I think we're gonna play it at max distance, even though it's a little less than max distance, because it's gonna take a hard hop to the left.
Perfect shot.
And there it is.
Eagle.
Yeah, that, you know, there wasn't quite at max distance, even though I went exactly max distance on the rings, and the reason I did is to account for that side hop that it tends to take when the wind curls the ball. You know, I was just compensating for that. Knowing how, not just knowing that the wind curves the ball in the air, but knowing how it's going to make it bounce, that first, second, and third bounce is when you're really going to see your game take off. You can start judging those bounces. Now, if I didn't want to play the bounce, if I didn't want to adjust sideways, I could have done like one side spin right there, two on a stronger wind, or added a little curl to the right. And I did kind of shade the circle a little bit, but I didn't break the circle. I could have aimed right at the hole and broken the circle maybe 10% to the right and probably canceled out the curling effect of that wind just the same, and achieve the same effect. You know, there's lots of different ways to play. You've all just got to figure out what your playing style and what you're most comfortable with. Oh, the coins? Okay. I've got the game volume turned way down, but we'll turn it down some more, buddy. My bad. Sometimes when I'm streaming, I'll get to talking and I'll totally forget about the shot clock, so I try to leave the volume up just enough that I can hear the shot clock. because I will space cadet while I'm streaming, talking to you guys, trying to explain stuff, and I will totally
Great
time
shot.
out. But no worries, buddy. We'll turn it down if the coins are being too annoying. I'm not one of those professional streamers like Tommy and Spencer and those guys that do this all the time. I literally just do this because it's the easiest way for me to show you guys stuff. In fact, you look at my stream history, it's all either us goofing around on PUBG or me streaming for tournament prep. And there's very little of anything else. Alright, obviously we don't really need a ring adjustment here because this wind is way stronger than what we could adjust to. Oops, we missed
Great shot.
a little bit to the left, but that's probably the safe side given this wind. And we went right through the crack. We'll have a chance. It'll probably be our long iron this time, though, not the short iron. I don't know. He's got short iron, so I guess we got short iron too. I felt like we were further back than that. Juan, there's another great stream if you want to watch a good stream. Just like Tommy, Juan has accounts at all levels. Provides a lot of good content. You know, one of the things I do, and I shared Tommy's walkthroughs. You guys could see all the holes in order, just like it was tournament play, even though those won't be the wins. But you know, nice shot. But
Nice on.
Tommy and Juan have a lot of experience. Obviously, really great players. You know, sometimes they do some shots, and I'm like, you know what? The true rookies, the guys that are just learning this game, probably shouldn't try that shot, especially in a tournament. Okay, let's try. Let's go a different route this time. Put a hair, topspin. Alright, we're more than mid-distance, I think, so we'll give it close to the full adjustment. We know the wind's really going to hamper the forward movement of the ball, so.
Nice on.
But we made the right call, I think, because sometimes in a headwind, the full backspin shot can be a little troublesome. It gets too soft of a bounce and doesn't kick forward enough, and then super spins back and misses.
Birdie.
Like there's no word. That and my wife will tell you that I'm probably about like half deaf.
Birdie.
Working in casinos as a kid back in Biloxi, and my grandfather used to own a nightclub, a lot of live bands and stuff like that. Shooting guns, not always using hearing protection, just a whole bunch of reasons my hearing's not what it should be. So I don't notice when things are loud, like the coins and stuff. I wouldn't have dawned on me without you guys saying something, but that's no biggie. One of the guys in the last stream was like, "You got the the background music playing way too loud. We can hardly hear you." I mean, I was barely hearing it, so it wouldn't really even dawn on me that it was so loud for them.
Perfect shot.
He's saying that his shot's nice before it's even done?
Nice on.
Okay, I think we're going to have one of those do as I say and as I do moments. If we get this hole in the tournament, don't play this shot. This is probably not a good shot for rookies, but we're going to try to see if we can't get it to do what we want right here. Five.
Great shot. Nice
I
on.
mean, with you know, you guys probably wouldn't have as much wind and you'll be closer, so that shot might be doable for you guys. I don't even know if this one's in the tournament. I don't think so. Yeah, I was just saying, don't cut stuff close or do anything risky, especially in rookie tournaments. I'm teaching you guys wrong. I mean, once you've done that kind of shot more often, rough bumps, sand bumps, they're not really that risky. You just have to be used to them. The important part of that whole thing is don't airball it and hit the green in the air when you're trying for a sand bump, because that ball will be gone. That's why I kind of aired on the side of caution and played it back a little bit to make sure I hit the rough. Safest time to do those shots is actually side winds, because you might miss left or right, but you know you won't be any further than you meant to go. Opponent's going to play it safe. Now, I don't know the full hook and slice ring adjustment for the
Perfect
extra
shot.
mile, but I say we try it anyway. Let's have a little fun in the stream. I'm sure you guys don't just want to hear the boring stuff about ring adjustments. You want to see me go in the water or maybe do something cool. I feel like that's not enough for an extra mile. Nope. Oh, good Lord. Told you I had no idea what the adjustment was for an extra mile. It honestly seems like the extra mile hook's harder than the Thor's Hammer or the Apocalypse. Might have something to do with its lower accuracy. It's not the actual curl, I think it's the little guy at the top, just like it goes more left or right into the red for like a sand wedge or rough iron.
Perfect
for a
shot.
long iron.
Nice on.
Given how far that went, that was going to be way too hot anyway. Too much tailwind. Hopefully we don't get a headwind this time. Ah, headwind, you suckers.
Perfect shot.
But this actually works out because I don't want to get too many trophies in Tour 9. I try to leave Tour 8 and 9 at 300 trophies or less a piece, and that way I can play 7, 8, or 9 with this account. Or even go down
Birdie.
putting in the tournament group I'm coaching. Alright, we could rough bump this. But yeah, we can also look minimum distance. Max side spin. And we cut it pretty close there.
Perfect shot.
Too close. We had to cut that super close to have any chance of getting close to the hole. No worries. Good game to our opponent. Where'd he go? Good job, DeSilva. Nice one. Here's one play. Want to give us another chance? Nope. No, we don't want that stupid offer. I don't know why they give that off. You lost one game, but you have tons of money for the amount of tour you're on, but we need to make sure you have the offer up. The dynamite. Okay. I'm not sure why you needed to put the word "the" in front of your name, but alright, well. Oh, without the side wind, I don't know if we can get the center island here. Plus the headwind, yeah. We probably shouldn't try that.
Great shot.
Oh, we didn't get in the fairway that way either. Missed the perfect by too much. Just tournament, the way to play this was to go where our opponent's about to try to go. Get on that center island, the little tiny island to the right there, but the extra miles limited curl and that headwind, I didn't think that that would be possible. Didn't miss the perfect by half a mile. Didn't on the other fairway either. Apocalypse has a good curl even at early level.
Perfect shot.
Yep, he squeaked on there.
Perfect
So
shot.
obviously we'll just have to try to chip this one in from distance. Give our opponent a little bit of a head start here. See what we can do with the second shot. Nirvana shot. You know, if you can't actually reach the green, I never bother overpowering. And whether it's a max distance throwing shot or a minimum distance throwing shot, it doesn't really change much. There's no sense in risking the needle going crazy and you messing up the shot really bad. I like to try to go for everything I can, but sometimes you just have to kind of play smart, give yourself a chance. Make it to the shootout if you can.
Perfect shot.
Yeah, it's really hard to stop that one. On this hole, we should have definitely went with the rough bump. I like curling it in from the side because that's how I played it in the tournament. And I got one albatross that way, but the rough bump right there I don't like. Alright, now we're not going to be able to play the bump and run this time, but we have plenty of room, even with that headwind, to do the adjustments of the backspin shot. I really hate bouncing it off the fringe. Alright, we're going to overplay the wind right here. I don't really have a good reason to tell you why. I just feel like, whoops.
Great shot.
That's great. Yep, right call.
Eagle.
Sometimes you just get a feel for a hole, like you feel like the shot plays a little longer, just like in real golf. You know, you just get a feel that the shot's going to play a little longer, especially with a headwind, so you give it a little extra. Which I said that comes down back to the field thing. I just totally went against what the ring chart would have had me do there, and that's what I meant when I told you guys in the chat that it's good to know the rings. It's good to know what they mean. It's good to use them, especially on difficult drives, to try to get the driver in a good position. But
Nice
they're not the end all be all. Just doing the exact ring adjustment perfectly and hitting the ball perfect will not make the ball go in. I repeat, it will not make the ball go in. I see so many people make posts in Elite, usually very early beginners, 500 games or less, and they're like, what did I do wrong? I hit it perfect. I adjusted for the wind exactly like the chart said. When the truth is, there's more to it than that. There is no magic formula that's going to make the ball go in for you, that you can just copy and paste and get it right every time. There's so many subtle little things. You know, elevation, Is there a ridge? Is the ball going to bounce left or right? Is there like a hill? Just some shots just play long for no ungodly reason. But that's kind of true in real life too. If any of you guys are real golfers, which I am, you know that there's always that one hole that it says it's a 170-yard par 3, and you just played a 170-yard par 3 2 holes ago, and you hit 8-iron. But for some reason on this one, 7-iron comes up short, and even though you flushed it, you hit it perfect. You're like, what the hell? Why is this 170 yards playing so different than the, it's the same way on this game. It's not all apples to apples. Another good thing, that last hole, never give up on a hole until it's over, until you just have no chance. You'd be surprised how many shots you can get to make when the pressure's off. You're in bad position. You messed up your drive, he didn't. There's like a 90% chance he should beat you. That takes the pressure off of you, though. You should, at that point, feel like, oh, this hole is done anyway. Let's try something. Let's do something. And that's when you can get some stuff to drop. Dang, that's a lot of wind. I don't think we need to switch from that.
Great shot.
Good Lord, the wind pushed the ball hard. That's all right. Get in the fairway. That's fine. We're going to go a little more left, but the trees aren't really going to be a problem because we can just make a curl. Maybe rough bump here. Maybe hop off that island. We'll see when we get closer what it's going to look like. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. You guys have been so quiet that I wasn't paying attention to the chat. Should we always curl or should we play the hole straight? Well, it really depends. I curl the ball, to shape the shot, just like, players in real golf shape the shot to give yourself an angle. It's always kind of, you're looking at the angle. If the hole plays pretty straight, I might use a side spin or two, or maybe nothing at all, But, it's really, there's no magical formula for curl or no curl. Obviously, this shot is going to require curl, like 100%, because we put ourselves behind some trees. Alright, now we're going to have to do this because the trees are going to block our view. We're going to have to do this straight, no ball guide. Now I know that I can hit this patch right here. Question is whether
perfect
it's going
shot.
to be a good adjustment or not. Nope, way too hot. Landed way too far up. But honestly, the way that we were positioned relative to that little island, I don't think we'd have been able to get on the green hopping off that little island either. So, honestly, if I would have just not put the top spin, that shot would have probably been okay. I've only ever played this hole from the right side because we had a favorable wind in the tournament. But yeah, on shots, it doesn't require curl like that shot did because we had something in our way. Honestly, I probably had enough backspin on that Goliath to just go on the green.
Nice on.
That's okay. Rough chips are fun. I love the Nirvana. It's really just about shot shape. And like I said, if you're using it for the purposes of killing the wind. Okay, perfect. Here, look. See? We got the flicker. See how it's flickering? So if I hit it here, maybe it'll be short, but maybe it'll be this one and go real too long. There's no real another way to this, but so you just move it forward and say, oh, look, up here, there's no flicker. So we will just move, don't you? We'll just go up a little bit and forget that rough part of the green.
Great
We
shot.
hit it great, but it might still drop first. No, we missed.
Nice on.
But took too much time playing with that flicker, I think. But that was just perfect, and we hadn't had that yet. And I was explaining it to you guys. But yeah, when you see it doing that, just find a better part of the green closer to the hole. If we'd have hit that perfect, it would have obviously had no problem going in. We didn't have to worry about was it going to come up way short or way long, because we're not sure which line was the real line, depending on where we land.
Birdie.
Right. You know, there are certain holes that require a bunch of curl to get a better position. Those are just going to be course knowledge. You've played that course a bunch of times and you know how to play the shot. But as far as, you know, having a pretty straight... Oops, he wanted to play again. No one ever wants to play again. Sorry, guy. But, you know, having a relatively straight shot but deciding to use some curl anyway. Typically, it's only if I have a really strong side wind, one way or the other. You can put a little curl into the wind to negate some or all of the side wind and straighten the ball out. You know, and I find that to be a little preferable to just putting side spin, because then you know the ball curls in hard left, hits, and then kicks hard right. You're never gonna be able to get those two things squared away evenly enough to get a straight roll after the bounce. It's always gonna be too much or too little. But the curl is pretty easy. You know, it's just curl a little bit. Don't get too carried away, and it'll, you know, lessen the effect of the wind a good bit. And then you can use one or two side spin in conjunction with that. Hopefully we'll get a decent side wind right here. Nope, tailwind again. Opponent's going to play super safe and go for the sniper shot on the second time.
Perfect shot.
Oh, he played it too safe. Get in fairway. Barely. He did not have much left. Yeah, let's try this again. Hopefully we learned something from last time. Let's try this. I feel like we over-adjusted by a mile, but who knows. We did. But we got lucky. Like I said, I honestly only know that adjustment with the Apocalypse. I am just guessing with this extra mile right now. Just served us right to go in the water again. But, I mean, honestly, that's not even the best way to play this hole. Unless you get a favorable win and you get a tournament where you get a qualifying round to hone in the adjustment. In regular tour play, you just run it down to the end of the fairway to the right. Use Thorn and either dunk it or
Great shot.
backspin shot. And have no problems. Oh, our opponent. No, don't do it. It was too risky. Got it too close. We didn't actually leave ourselves because of the shenanigans. But here we go. We'll do a side hill rough bump. Alright, we're at minimum distance for this club, so we're not going to adjust 3 of the rings. Holy moly.
Great shot.
The screen jumped on me a little bit there. Well, that wasn't good. Victim of the old stream lag. When you're streaming and playing at the same time, sometimes it gets a little laggy if your Wi-Fi is not on point, which this one usually is, but I'm the first one to own up to a bad shot and I missed perfect, but that was straight
Great
glitch.
shot.
Straight needle hop.
Nice on.
That thing went from just left of the perfect to 2 rings right of the perfect without ever seeing the needle. Yeah, let's try it again. Yeah, let's play it a little safer just in case. Over here, we'll use a little side spin.
Perfect shot.
There we go. Whoops. And when we airmail it, we played so safe that we missed the rough. It's probably an ill-advised shot anyway, but I wanted to actually make it and I just get on the green. Yeah, that's the fun of playing down here on Tour 9.
Call.
Alright, chip shot, let's see what we got. Alright, we can see that we don't have much line flicker, so we can play whatever kind of shot we want. You know, top spin takes a little bit of the wind out of the adjustment. I don't think we have to give up any more of the hole than that. Oops.
Perfect shot. Par.
Alright, so we get to go to a shootout, even despite all of our shenanigans on this hole. That hole was a straight tailwind. I wanted to kind of, here we go, we can, no, there's only one real way to play this hole. Right, just from experience, I don't know if you noticed, but I overplayed the wind there. Whoops, hit the grate.
Great shot.
Good. Yeah, hit the damn perfect. And you see I ended up right where you know, I wanted to land. I adjusted for 10 miles an hour instead of 8.7, and I know that shot with a tailwind typically plays a little long. You nick the rough. And that goes back to another example of the rings aren't perfect. You know, course knowledge, practice, and just kind of getting a general feel for the game. I know that's not what beginners want to hear. They want to go, well, you know, if I do everything right, I'll get the right result. But that is unfortunately not true. And
Perfect
that's just
shot.
something you guys need to kind of be aware of now, early in your golf clash career. You know, perfect ring adjustments and setting up properly by themselves will not always garner the right result. Yeah, I didn't even notice. I pointed him an amazing shot. Oh, I see it on the replay here. Yeah, he did. He kind of copied our adjustment, but he one-upped us by getting on the inside track there. Well played, buddy. I would have given you more props if I'd have seen that going down. I was talking over here. Alright, but hopefully this is kind of giving you guys a little bit of an idea what I mean when I say the ring adjustments, minimum, mid, and max distance, curl. Hopefully we get a not tailwind this time. Here we go. Here we go. Brutal side wind. Perfect. Brutal side wind. Now, this is also perfect, as Michael was saying, should we always curl or not curl? Obviously, on this particular shot, hitting it dead straight, it's going to be curled because the wind's going to curl it. For this kind of shot, it's probably easier to go with the wind than against it. So we'll aim to try to bounce right in here somewhere, knowing that the wind's going to increase the effective curl on the ball. We're going to adjust out to here. And then we're going to increase the wind's effect by adding a little bit of curl. Because we really want to curl in here to give ourselves the angle. It's okay if we nick the rough right there because it still runs into the fairway. You know, try to give ourselves an angle to go into the other fairway. Now, You know, we'd have really been fighting such a strong wind to go left. Even with max curl and max side spin, it would have been very hard to keep that ball heading left. So for that particular shot, you know, we wanted to use the wind, kind of ride it, if you will. You know, we probably overdid it a hair, but you know, we wanted to make sure we stayed high right, you know, so the ball can trickle back down into the fairway if we do hit the rough. If you go into the rough straight forward, there's no coming back out of it, and the trees are going to be in your way. Our opponent's got a very strong wind, and the Quasar ball hit it perfect.
Perfect shot.
Oh, we got a nice friendly double hop there. I was concerned that he might hit that rough at the beginning and be in it too far back, but you got a very friendly double hop. I like it. There we go. Now we can see our ball going. That'll make this shot a lot easier. Alright. We are not max distance. I'm going to make close to a max distance adjustment. That was actually right about 10 rings.
Perfect shot.
Nope. Still too
Nice
far
on.
over. But that's okay. Still a safe shot. Easy to get on the green that way. Trying to come in with, you know, full backspin and a headwind. We still would have probably been on the green, but maybe a little further back. That shot, the rough bump is just a shot that has an increased chance of going in. If we played all the way on the green, there was zero chance it was going to go in. And he's a little in between clubs right here. It's too much topspin, bud. No, if you play further back, maybe not. He probably needs to hit that second cut of rough, not the first cut of rough. I hope this checks up for him. Headwind should slow it down some.
Perfect shot.
Nope. Kind of the mistake we made earlier when we didn't have a ball guide. We were just kind of guessing as to what it was going to do.
Birdie.
But yeah, curl, side spin, backspin, front spin. It's all just any combination of all of it. Some, none, or all. All just depends on the individual shot. There's no right or wrong way. I know a lot of times on shootouts, if it's a straighter shootout and I'm trying to get a very specific landing point, I'll put a little curl against the wind to level the ball out and keep it flying straight so it doesn't come in at such an awkward angle. But you know, off the tee, you know, or second shots, it really depends. You know, is there anything in your way?
Perfect
what
shot.
angle do you want to land on, bounce on? You'll find
Birdie.
with more experience, you will have a repertoire of all kinds of shots. Curls, dunks, top spins, back spins. You know, you'll get them to go in all kinds of ways. This is actually a really good example. If we get a side wind here, the island hop, we got a tailwind. You know, if you get a side wind right here, it's actually a great hole for the curling with the wind thing. Alright, that's not what we're going to do though. For the simple reason Sniper 9 will not
Great shot.
check up. Oh, we landed, we played too much wind. We landed in the rough too far back.
Nice on.
But yeah, we could have got closer than that, but I was going for it all. Sniper 9 will not check up with a 12 mile per hour tailwind. It'll bounce and bounce past the hole on the next bounce and check up at about 5 or 6 yards away. Best case scenario. The shot we played, slightly better executed, can roll right next to the hole, get inside of a yard. That was poor execution. Another thing, which is part of what messed us up right there, even though I knew it, I just didn't think it would affect it as much. When you're adjusting down into a bunker, you're adjusting down into an elevation change, so it increases the adjustment. So if I move one ring from the top of that land down into the bunker, I really move 2 rings, which is why we put the rough a little too far back. Alright. Okay, 2 of you guys are still watching. So, how are we feeling? Anything else? Any questions? Anything you guys want to see me try, do, explain? Michael's okay for now. I know it's all a lot to take in, and I really hate being Glenn Marcus Stakes Part 5. This one's going to be on the tournament. I really hate to be the guy that has to burst all the rookies' bubbles when I tell them that learning the rings and all the adjustments, all the stuff that everyone talks about in the thing, won't actually always get the ball to do what you want. But that's kind of the truth. There's all kinds of other factors that'll mess up a shot. There's a good one. We got a little bit of side wind, so we're definitely going to need a little bit of curl here. You know, this is kind of where the gap we want to go through. So this is, I think, where we'll have to aim. And we'll also use some curl.
Perfect shot!
To try to get the ball moving in that direction at a better angle. In conjunction with the side spin. And we managed to shoot the gap. So that one we used curl to straighten the ball out. Had the wind gone the other way, we would have used less or no curl because the wind was already providing the curl that we wanted. You know, which is kind of what I meant. Curl is just really a matter of, does it make sense for this shot? You know, if I have a straight hole and a wide open fairway, and you know, I'll just aim a little to the left of the fairway and just let the ball ride the wind. You know, just let it put a little natural curl on it, no biggie. Tour 6 and Tour 11 have a couple holes like that. One long par 5 has this like this 10-mile long fairway. Your second shot
perfect
can be
shot
tricky if you go straight. You know, so it's only really good to go that way with a tailwind. But go. Nope. No, we should not, unless there's a crazy tailwind. Nope. We will not be able to reach the green in 2 here. So we'll just try to leave this shot at a comfortable distance in the fairway. And see if we can't chip in. That should be fine. You know, even if we'd have given it full stank, full everything, all we'd have done is gone in the bunker, which is a tougher shot than laying back a little bit. So one of those times, sometimes you just have to kind of be confident that you can make that short iron shot. Just like that hole we rallied after the bad tee shot, and we got the eagle and our opponent didn't. And even if he had got the eagle he should have gotten, we would have still made the playoff.
Perfect shot!
You're going to have to just sometimes have a little confidence in that short iron or longer wedge shot, that you can get it to drop when you need it to. And it's going to be necessary sometimes. Especially in tournaments. Getting a few short iron shots to drop is typically the difference between getting a banner and no banner. Obviously. Okay, we can do the minimum distance thorn. Now this is going to be absolute minimum distance. In fact, yeah, we adjusted about half the amount that we would for full distance.
Perfect shot.
Ah, we adjusted too much.
Nice
still.
on.
Also keep in mind that, you know, just like a real wedge shot, the further you hit it, the more spin you can put on it. I was hoping the wind would really check that up and get it to backspin more, and it didn't. Minimum distance thorn, you lose a good bit of its backspin versus max distance, so we didn't quite get all the spin we wanted. But it was still a good safe shot. We played the whole the safe, conservative, smart way. Tournaments, I mean, you're trying to get the best score possible. Sometimes you have to go for a few things. But tour play, you know, if a hole doesn't set up for you to know that you're going to easily get an extra stroke, just make sure you make the shootout. Every tour is about the shootouts. If you're winning the shootouts,
Great shot.
the rest really doesn't matter very much. You know, because you
Nice
can play the
on.
whole smart and safe and make it to the shootout most of the time. You know, if you're good at the shootouts, you know, you'll blow through every tour.
Birdie.
Why not dunk down, Michael says. Okay, little known fact. For all my gold and win percentages and match trophies, I actually suck at dunking. I don't know what it is. I know the adjustments. I got good feel. I hit the base of the pin and lip out or get weird bounces. I don't know. I don't overly... I like the full backswing shot. You know, I love it when I have a little room to play the ball forward and let it roll in the hole. You know, if the shot absolutely requires the dunk and I have no choice, I'll do it, but... But that's the honest truth, Michael. We all have our blind spots, and that's mine. Heck, I got 2 maxed accounts before I ever got that stupid dunk achievement. Whoops.
Great shot.
That's a great. It's going to cost us a little bit. Closeness to the pin.
Nice
I don't
on.
think we get a hole in one, but I think it would have been 1.8 instead of 2.8 if we had hit it perfect there. That was a good adjustment, though. From the rookie tees, this is a great one to go just past that bunker and rough bump it to get the hole in one. It's actually a pretty consistent shot, and it's a fatter piece of rough than it looks like. It's better if you have sniper. I'm assuming you guys, you know, Viper could probably pull it off too. If it's leveled up, probably 6 or higher. I don't remember which one of you. One of you guys were rocking the big dog. I don't know if I'd try it with that. I don't think that's a very good big dog shot. The rough
Great shot.
Go. Nope, he shorted it. Michael's laughing. It's very funny. I kid you not. My second playthrough, I maxed that account in like 900 games, not counting tournaments, with 68% wins. And I think I dunked twice. Neither from more than like 5 yards away on that account. You know, it's crazy too, because you'll play guys on Tour 11 that love to dunk. They're dunking with long irons from 120 yards out. But yeah, I'll tell you though, one of the reasons I like the full backspin shot with the thorn, the reason I like to play it, because you know, people like to play it where they go as far past the hole and, you know, for like the max distance where you get like a really good backspin and suck it all the way back into the roll in the hole. I always try to get it to bounce right in front of the hole to where the second bounce tries to go in. And if the second bounce misses, it'll go just past the hole and then maybe go in on the return. So I kind of feel like if you do that right, you have 2 chances to get the ball to go in. And I've done both a bunch of times. I've got it to go in on the second hop, and I've got it to just miss the second hop, go just past the hole, and then immediately backspin in and get it that way, like we did earlier. Yeah, that's probably a good cover up for my sucking at dunking. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those crazy things.
Perfect shot.
This is an awkward in-between club area. So we're going to have to go with the Goliath here. Max backspin. See if we can get it going off the hop here. Now we adjusted for about 8 miles per hour on max distance.
Perfect shot.
Oh, and of course we have it right over there. But we adjusted 4 rings, which is 8 miles per hour with the wind at max distance because we're at minimum distance. We didn't want to go a full 10 for the 10 mile per hour wind. I don't know what the minimum distance is for Goliath. I just know that 10 is max distance, and we were at minimum distance, so we needed to go less.
Perfect shot.
The rest was just kind of feel and experience, because I've probably hit this shot before with a whole bunch of
nice on.
Over time. And honestly, the problem wasn't with the adjustment; it was just with the initial lineup. I thought that the wind was going to make that ball check up a hair more than it did.
Birdie.
The second dribbly bounce was the one we wanted to go in, not that first hard bounce. But I also forget playing this junior account that sometimes the ball guides aren't as good as the max clubs in my other account, and totally fail to compensate for that. I don't know if the ball guide is different between a Goliath 7 and Goliath 8. I'd have to check.
Birdie.
That can be part of it sometimes too. I forget that the ball guide goes from 3.3 to 3.8 or whatever in certain clubs, and I play the ball guide like the max ball guide I'm used to, and then end up going a little off. But with you guys on your first accounts, on your first playthrough, really try to know your clubs, because that's pretty important. Let's see if we can get this shot going this time.
Great shot.
You glitchy needle, you. This time might turn out okay. Curl. Forget that I missed the perfect play ball. No.
Nice on.
I think that one would have been pretty good if we wouldn't shank the crap out of that ball. But there, at least you got to see that shot kind of work. Opponent has sniper 10, so he has more backspin than we did, so he can probably go off the island and get away with it. But it looks like he's gonna follow us. Okay. Sometimes you can't do this shot based purely on the ball guide. Not 100%. Yeah, actually, I like his left. He's got a good setup. If he hits it perfect, he will be better than us. He may have overcooked the wind adjustment a little bit. But still, whoop, he's underpowering a little bit. That little
Perfect
bit of underpower
shot.
may cost him. Yep. Too much underpower. He was scared of the shot and didn't want to go long, and that's why he
Nice on.
It's easy to do. You think just because you let off just a hair and you don't break the circle, it's still inside the circle, but that little bit of underpower can be $5 or $10 sometimes. Alright guys, I think we covered a bunch of stuff. This is, you know, the real meat and potatoes happens, you know, on Monday. We'll keep the chat active. We'll keep talking. We'll keep answering questions. We'll show you guys some different stuff. You know, we can talk about any of the shots Tommy played if you have questions about any of those. Whether you know, we feel like there'd be good shots for what clubs and balls you guys are going to be playing with. Here you go, Michael. I'm putting just a hair with a curl. And a little bit of grate.
Shot.
So it's going to be too far over. Way too far. I probably shouldn't have put any curl. I was just, you know, proof positive. Put a little bit of curl. It'll straighten the ball out a little bit. Even on the hole where you probably shouldn't. Yeah, that's okay. Believe it or not, that shot, assuming you can hit the perfect, is more makeable with the Nirvana than it is with the Goliath. Of course, with a tailwind, we could have gotten all the way down there in the thorn range, which is even easier, but no biggie. Opponent's doing the smart thing, curling with the wind here.
Great shot!
On the other side. Hopefully he doesn't go in that bunker. Nope, he's over. And it trickled back into the fairway for him. Alright, Nirvana. I know that, you know, a lot of the times Nirvana says it has 100% accuracy or whatever it has at this level. I'm just going to kind of eyeball that. But it actually plays more like a Goliath or a Thorn. Oh, too far over. More,
nice,
you know, it actually plays closer to 2 rating than one of them, even though it says 100% accuracy, which is weird. Which is one of the reasons I like to eyeball it, but it doesn't really play, you know, 100% like the ring adjustment says it should. Therefore, I don't trust it and just kind of go with my own thing. Experiment with curl, yeah, you can go. You know, the only problem with Tour 1 is you can practice a curl, but you won't be able to practice very much with curl into the wind. The other thing is, what tour? How many tours do you have maxed right now? Like 1, 2, 3?
Birdie. Birdie.
Okay, so 1 through 4 is completely maxed. It's probably still okay. The replays probably haven't gotten too crazy yet. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the whole when you max a bunch of tours and you go back to a tour and play it with significantly more trophies than that tour would typically have, then you end up playing replays from more advanced players, and it can be pretty difficult to win. I don't think that you'll have a problem necessarily.
Perfect shot.
Whoops. Airballed the bunker. Was just kind of half eyeballing that. I don't know if that would have worked anyway. There's some shots you can do later on in the game when you have clips with more topspin. You guys just hit the ball in the bunker with a tailwind and topspin, and it'll just roll on the green next to the hole. Yeah, you're not supposed to miss the bunker though. I forgot that this hole plays downhill from this tee box. But no, Michael, the game is not determined. What I mean by you play replays of other people's shots. Like, it was a real person who really played the hole, but it's not live. It's a recording that they use to match people when they can't find a match because you're playing with too many trophies for that tour, or sometimes you'll get a replay on later tours because there's just
great shot.
I mean, less than 1% of all players that play Golf Clash will max out, and only like 3% make it to Tour 11, I think, or some numbers like that. Small. Tour 11 small. You play a lot of the same people on Tour 11 pretty often. So if you play like late at night or some weird time and no one's playing, you may not be able to find an opponent. So then it'll just give you a replay of someone who played that hole and made it to the shootout, and you'll play whatever replay. It's amazing though, there's this weird thing that happens, like all the replays are of very good shots and never of bad shots where people do something like what I just did, goofing around and hit the ball over the green. It's always like 2 yards away or less. So I think the algorithm is meant to make you work for it. I don't know. But a lot of people, if you go backwards in tours with too high a trophy count, you'll play replays who hit pretty good shots most of the time. They can be beaten, don't get me wrong, so it's not predetermined, but it's, well, I guess their score in shootout is predetermined, but whether or not you beat them isn't. They're just not super easy to beat. Sometimes. I mean, like I said, on certain holes, 2 yards away is not that good, and you can get inside of it pretty easily, but, Tour 1 I don't think would be crazy. But, I mean, the easiest way for experimentation is you and a buddy play friendlies. And you can both just experiment with stuff, and then they can wait for you, so if you hit a bad shot, like the full hook shot I did with the extra mile earlier, I went in the water. I had no idea what the ring adjustment was for a full curl extra mile, full hook. So I just kind of eyeballed it, took a shot, went in the water. But if I was playing with a buddy, then he could try it too. We could both go in the water a few times. Just practice, and do whatever we want. Wait for each other, make sure we go to the shootout so we can practice that too. Not that you can't practice these things in tour play, but when you really want to just try something that you're not used to and you want to kind of test it before you try to launch it in the real game, especially if you're playing in a tour where money's tight, that's a good way to go about it. So yeah, I'm not trying to scare everybody. I'm not trying to play the replays, but that's what we tell people on your first playthrough. Play the tours in order. Don't skip tours. Because, say you do 1 through 4 right now. Say, oh, 5 sucks. I hate 5. Oh, look, I'm really good at 6. You max 6, you get into 7, your 400 trophies into 7, but now your trophy count's 1,500 trophies too high for the typical Tour 5 player. So what's going to happen is it's going to match you to replays of people with a similar trophy count that played it for whatever reason some time ago, and the replays are going to be very, very tough. They are not going to be your, oops, I hit a 7-yard shootout replay. Now they're not going to eagle on par 4s. They're going to make the expected score. They're going to birdie a par 5 or birdie a par 4, eagle a par 5, then have a good shootout. So if you get an albatross and eagle on a par 4, you're going to win the hole outright on a replay. That's the plus side. The downside is if you're not particularly good at those shootouts, or average at those shootouts, the replay is probably going to be pretty tough. And, you know, until you're at that point where you are constantly inside of 2 yards yourself, and then playing replays doesn't matter. That's why I got this account spread over so many tours, because I don't mind going back to 4, 5, or 6 if that's the, you know, the tournament that's on, you know, because I don't have 10 and 11 unlocked on this one yet, you know, 5 or 6. You know, to show somebody the holes, because, you know, I don't have too many problems with the replays. It's not that big a deal. But, you know, like I said, that first playthrough doing tours out of order, you can get kind of beat up a little bit. And it's kind of discouraging because you've already had that tour maxed out, now you've lost 100 trophies in it, and now you're fighting against these tough replays to get them back, and it's discouraging. I did it my very first playthrough on my main account once or twice until I figured out that that's, you know, was a thing, and, you know, it's kind of deflating. You're doing okay in a higher tour, and you go back to this tour and you get your butt kicked, and you're like, what the hell? I beat this tour pretty easy the first time. Why am I now getting beaten up on it? And that's more often than not the reason. You're not getting any live players. The one exception to that is if it's a tournament week and you're practicing on the course, you know, below your normal tour, that the tournament's being held on, because it'll be flooded with all kinds of people trying to get tournament practice. And you'll get some live players, and it'll all just be a crapshoot like normal on any tour as to who wins or who shoots good on this hole or who's more used to it or who's more skilled, you know, when you get matched up. But, you know, for this week, Tour 1, Tour 2, tours that are not the tour the tournament's being held on, you know, and your trophy count's too high, it's going to be straight replays. But at any rate, alright guys, like I said, this chat is your chat all week long. Ask as many questions about whatever you want. You know, don't feel like you can't get a little off topic. I mean, golf class related, but, you know, if you have a question about a little bit, you know, just general game mechanics, even the tour you're on a little bit, you know, between now and Sunday, I'll say, you know, ask anything. Once we hit Monday and we start our, you know, getting the real qualifying prep, you know, then we'll stick to tournament adjustments only. I don't think I mentioned this in the chat yet. I'll mention it in the chat too, because I don't think everybody's going to watch this or watch this all the way to the end. But I typically have pros and rookies, especially, as long as it's not a money issue, you know, as long as you got the bankroll for it. We use Monday as a practice, which means play the hole as best as you can, tee to green, and then forfeit at least from hole 4 or 5 on to make sure you shoot about even par or worse. That way you get to practice all the holes tee to green, and you get to practice them again on Tuesday, and you get that little nifty tournament offer. Typically you get some good balls for a pretty cheap price if you want them. If not, no biggie. But you know, a lot of players do that. You know, they do it on Masters every time. Every time. No, you any one of you guys could probably go qualify in a Masters tournament right now if you had the Masters banner, even though you probably get killed in the opening. Because the clubs aren't there yet, and Masters is tough. But almost, you know, I'd say 75% of the people that play Masters throw that Monday qualifier on purpose just so they get extra practice, because the adjustments are very difficult. The third tee box is very difficult. You have to qualify on one of the days, correct? Yes, but it can be any one of the days. You do not have to qualify on Monday or Tuesday. Now, I always say, you know, for these tournament prep groups, we're going to throw Monday as long as it's not a budget issue for you. Get the extra practice, help us hone in our adjustments, that way they're even better by the time the weekend rolls around. And we're going to do our best and try to qualify on Tuesday. I don't like leaving it to chance in case something crazy happens on Wednesday. You get some weird disconnect and they won't fix your score because they're not fixing scores anymore, and you get a bogey or something, and you don't, you know, if you don't qualify on Wednesday, now you're out of the tournament. So I don't like to leave that to chance. You know, we're going to, you know, plus you're wasting money twice, and you know, typically at the lower levels, that's a lot of money. So if you have the budget for it, we'll throw Monday. Just use it for extra practice. We won't use really good balls. We'll just use basics, maybe a Marlin if you have plenty of them or something. Just to we're just getting a feel for the course. These aren't going to be our permanent adjustments, because when Saturday rolls around, we're probably going to be using slightly better balls, hopefully on on 1 or 2 of the holes, the ones we need the eagles on, the long par 5s. You know, so you know, we don't want to go crazy. You know, throwing too many qualifiers, wasting too many balls. But you know, the general principle there is just to get a little bit of extra practice to help us get our adjustments better. Because remember, tournaments aren't like tour play. We don't have to come up with a new adjustment every hole for a different win. The wins are going to be more or less, minus a little bit of movement here and there, set, which means we can really get the exact same adjustment every time until we get it just where we want it and get some stuff to drop. You know, and the more chances we have to play the holes in the exact tournament conditions, in the exact wins, the more likely those adjustments will get better and better and better. And some will actually go in for us, some extras. You know, an eagle on a par 4, a hole in one, something. Because typically, you know, on tournaments, even higher up tournaments, you don't have to place top 10. You need one extra on a lot of tournaments. You know, so let's say you eagle the par 5s, birdie everything else. That's 12 under a side, 24 under. Well, think of how many tournaments you've seen won at 25 or 26 under. That's just if you play mistake-free golf, play smart, play safe. You only have to have a couple holes where you really have to go for something. You know, 1 or 2 extras, and you're in your top 10. You know, 2 or 3 extras, and you're maybe getting a banner. You know, people push too hard and try too hard and try to cut too many things too close in tournaments, and that's where mistakes happen. You nick the rough. You do some of the silly stuff you saw me doing today because I wasn't really worried about this. But in a tournament, I wouldn't have made some of those adjustments because they were just too dangerous, too close to the rough, too unpredictable. You know, you have to, you know, kind of, you know, like a real golf, take what the course gives you kind of thing. And then go for the, you know, by the time we get done with our Monday qualifier, we'll know exactly where our extras are, what holes we really want to go for it, and what holes we just want to play smart. And if it drops, fine, but if it doesn't, no big deal, because we don't want to risk, you know, those holes that I call trap holes. They kind of trap you into thinking you can go for something that you shouldn't, and then you make a mistake, and now you have a par. And once you do that, your round spirals out of control, because now you're trying to make up for that par. You're like, you know you need 24, 25 under, but now you've got 11 under on the front side, so what do you got to do? You got to get 13 on the back. Well, how do you get 13 on the back? Now you've got to press even harder and go for stuff you shouldn't have gone for. Maybe, you know, take a shot you didn't even adjust for. You know, we'll try stuff Monday, try some stuff Tuesday. You can even maybe play with some stuff on the opening round a little bit. You know, fine-tuning your adjustments a little bit, not really changing too much. But once Saturday comes in, your game plan should be locked. You should know how you want to play each hole and stick to that game plan. If something goes wrong, stick to it and trust that you'll get some of the ones you want to drop. The biggest mistake one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is, you know, they make a mistake and they have their game plan, and then, well, game plan's out the window. Let's just try a bunch of crazy shots and see if we can get that one back. Oh, hell, I shot 16 under instead of 24 under. You know, everything went to shit real quick, and that's typically the reason why. You know, you try a shot you haven't tried all week long in the Saturday round. That never works. Pretty much never. Not the... if it does, you got real lucky. You know, so... You know, just some stuff to think about, some stuff to go over. I know that there's more advanced... You know, we touched on it, but I didn't go crazy. I'll post the links to the more advanced wind ring videos that Tommy put out a while ago. When I get off the stream in a minute. You know, it's pretty good reviewing stuff too. You know, even though he's kind of going into like, I want to say there's a 1.0 and a 2.0, maybe even a 3.0, where he's getting into all the same stuff we talked about on the stream a little bit. But this was kind of, I guess, getting you guys ready for that stuff. So, all right, guys. Well, I will talk to you guys later. You know, one of the three of us are pretty much available all the time in the chat, so has questions. Jordan's in England, so he's on a little bit of a different schedule than us. So whatever schedule you're on, one of us is probably up and around, ready to rock and roll. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.